Ah, college. You know, that glorious time we all dream about. We're picturing these amazing friendships, this newfound freedom, and, of course, the launch pad to an incredible career. It's this perfect movie-like vision of campus life we all have. But what happens when that vision completely crashes into reality? All right, let's dive into this hilarious and, let's be honest, painfully relatable take on the Indian college experience.
This quote, this just says it all, doesn't it? We all start out with this big idea, this high-definition dream of what college is going to be like. But as we're about to find out, the reality is often more like a low-budget, super pixelated, and kind of funny version of that dream.
So let's start with the fantasy. You're imagining these huge green campuses, right? Having deep intellectual talks in some cool cafe, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of movie-style romance. It's the highlight reel you've been sold your entire life. But the very first stop on this journey is usually the hostel.
And this is where the dream starts to unravel, like almost immediately. Your first real taste of independence often begins with your living situation, which is, let's just say, it's not quite what you had in mind. So on the left, you've got the dream, the spacious, personalized safe haven. And on the right, oh boy, the stark reality for so many of us. A tiny box, barely big enough for you, let alone all your big dreams. And the amenities, well, they've got a personality all their own.
And this quote, it just perfectly captures that whole experience, you know? It's not just a fan, it's some kind of creature, and it's wailing, constantly reminding you that you're just one sudden jolt away from a really, really bad haircut. You probably spend half your college life just staring up at it, wondering if today is the day it finally gives up.
And to add to all that charm, you're expected to survive for an entire month on what feels like a ridiculously small amount of money. This number, 2,500 rupees, becomes the single most important figure in your life. It controls everything, what you eat, your social life, and it vanishes faster than you can even think about ordering a pizza. Just when you think you're all alone in this struggle for survival, you meet your roommate. Now, this isn't just some person you share a room with. No. This person is a master of microeconomics, a guru of Jugaad, with a PhD in stretching every single rupee until it begs for mercy.
And they come armed with some truly next-level financial advice. It's a whole new kind of logic. Like, why buy one big bag of chips when you can get two smaller ones for the same price and feel like you're getting more? It's all about perceived value. And forget fancy chocolates. We're maximizing size for the price. But the coffee advice, that's where the real genius comes in.
And there it is. This is the absolute peak of student innovation. Why would you spend money on coffee powder and milk when a single 1 rupee candy can give you the essence of coffee? It's completely absurd, it's hilarious, and honestly, it's a survival tactic that comes from pure financial desperation. This is the kind of outside-the-box thinking that college actually teaches you.
Okay, so moving beyond the four walls of the hostel room, you've got the even more complicated world of the college itself. It's a whole ecosystem of cliques, social hierarchies, and just a ton of misplaced confidence, especially from the new students.
You see, first-year students, the freshers, they often show up with so much heat. They're ready to make their mark, challenge authority, stand up to anyone and everyone, even their own professors. And that bravado, as you can probably guess, it rarely ends well.
Sooner or later, all that tension just boils over. But a college fight, it's not what you see in the movies. It's more like a unique kind of performance art. There's a lot of shouting, a lot of dramatic posturing, and surprisingly, not a lot of actual hitting. The real goal isn't to win, it's just to be part of the drama.
And this is where it gets truly wild. You get dragged into a fight to defend the honor of your senior, this guy they call Muthibaya. You're feeling all heroic for a second, only to realize, wait a minute, this is the exact same senior who ragged you and slapped you on your very first day of college. The loyalties are a mess, the logic just isn't there, and you're just along for this completely chaotic ride.
So after all the shouting and the shoving, how does it all end? Not with the police, not with anyone getting expelled. Nope. It ends with a negotiation, a settlement. Because in the world of college drama, justice isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about balancing the budget.
And here we have it, the official bill for damages. Just look at this breakdown. You've got 180 rupees for first aid and a mandatory 120 rupees for snacks to make the other guys feel better. And the kachoris have to be hot.
Now, 300 rupees might not seem like a lot, but when your entire monthly budget is 2,500, this one moment of misguided loyalty just cost you a huge piece of your survival fund.
So you did it. You survived the fan, the roommate, the fights, and you finally graduate. You've made it through all the chaos, and you're ready for the big prize. A fantastic job. That dream is back in focus.
And that's the question every single graduate asks themselves, right? You've earned the degree, you've paid your dues in questionable snacks and completely pointless fights. The world is your oyster now. That corporate ladder is just sitting there, waiting for you to start climbing. Or is it?
Well, not exactly. The reality can be just another hilarious letdown. You might end up in some bizarre entry-level job doing things that make absolutely no sense, like trying to duplicate a candy on a photocopier because you saw it in a TV commercial once. That grand career path you imagined, it turns out to be just as absurd as everything that came before it.
So, if the hostels are tiny, the fights are pointless, and the first job is a complete joke, then what was the point of it all? This brings us to the final, and honestly the most important takeaway from this whole wild experience.
And this right here, this is the real lesson. A college degree, on its own, isn't that golden ticket we all thought it was. The real value, the thing that's actually going to get you a great job, comes from tangible skills, the stuff you can actually do. College is just the chaotic background, but your career, that depends entirely on the skills you actually build along the way.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. Maybe the real education wasn't happening in the lecture halls. Maybe it was in figuring out how to survive on a tiny budget, how to navigate all these bizarre social rules, and most importantly, how to find the humor in all the chaos. What if the most valuable lessons were the ones that were never, ever part of the official curriculum?